What's up everyone, and welcome to Beer Pressure. With this being my first video, I just want to start by saying I'm not here to give the professional review of any of the beers or breweries featured on this channel. I'm simply here to have some fun, taste some beers, and share that with you guys. So, welcome, and let's get to the beers. Man, I don't know where you guys are at, but where I live, it's getting really cold. And if you're lucky enough to live in the warm climates, I'm pretty jealous of you. Either way, we know winter's coming, and I think it's appropriate to take a look at some seasonal beers. Today I'm going to be opening up some Sam Adams Winter Classics. This new updated 2020 edition features 6 beers, and I'm pretty excited to crack into these bad boys. I'm excited to try all of these, but of course if we're going to talk Sam Adams, we got to start at the roots, the Boston Lager, right? Now this is obviously available all year round, and it's just their specialty. For me, I think it says a lot about a brewery if you have your number one all-star that's just pretty well known, I think, around the country. It's delicious. Coming in at 5% alcohol per volume, it's a good beer, I'll tell you what. Just gonna enjoy that for a second. Yeah, it's, there's not much that I can put into words to talk about it. My wife and I actually were lucky enough to go to the Boston Brewing Company up there in Massachusetts and learn just kind of what it takes to make the beer. And honestly, they picked a beer that was successful and they just stuck through it with all the time. And I think they do a phenomenal job with it. And obviously being a Boston native, it's one of my favorites, that's for sure. Alright guys, next up we got the Sam 76 Lager. Now I don't know too much about this particular brew, however right off the bat you can see that it's way lighter. And it's said to be their more drinkable beer, and it's just the more kind of, you're hanging out, you're just chilling with friends, you're just gonna throw back a couple of brews, you go to this and more refreshing. Let's test it out. Oh yeah, absolutely. It still kind of has the taste of the Boston Lager, but it's a lot lighter in a sense, it has about 4.7 alcohol per volume, so it's just a little bit lighter. However, it's a lot more citrusy and you can kind of throw it back easier. And this is good. It does remind me a little bit more of the summer days, which is weird. It's in the Winter Classics pack, but I do find this kind of something you can enjoy all day. Maybe a Sunday, you're watching some sports, you're hanging out, you're not trying to get crazy. You open up a 76 and you just throw it back, So I enjoy it quite a bit. This is up there in my top of this pack so far. Alright guys, we're keeping it moving. Next up we got the Sam Adams American IPA. And to be honest, I'm out here on the West Coast. IPA is the thing that everyone goes to. Personally I do. I enjoy an IPA quite a bit. And ironically though, Sam Adams isn't quite as known for their massive amounts of IPAs, You go to more of the local breweries where I'm at and that's kind of their signature. But let's see how Sam Adams handled it. Oh yeah, definitely way hoppier than the previous two, and that's kind of the first notice. It's not super heavy as far as IPAs go. It's still pretty easily drinkable, and I enjoy it quite a bit. So the Sam 76, you can get that all year round. Obviously the Boston Lager, you can get that all year round. I kind of did a little bit of research on this, and honestly there wasn't much out there. I think it's specifically part of this pack as of right now, and it's nice to see them kind of moving into the IPA game. I think they did a fantastic job, honestly. That works for me, I enjoy an IPA quite a bit. Yeah, that's good right there. So far I haven't really been going into kind of the more flavor profiles of the beers, but I think that's just kind of because it's a little more expected what's to come from these. Obviously the IPA, you got the more hoppier kind of citrusy flavor, right? With the two lagers, you get the more barley, the kind of wheat flavor almost. But this winter lager, definitely completely different, right? It's similar. It's very similar to the Boston Lager in a sense, but there's for sure a lot more notes of cinnamon. I'm reading here it's got ginger, orange peel, a lot more of the kind of festive flavors you would expect with kind of a holiday lager, right? And I think they nailed it, honestly. I mean, doing some research, the winter lager, it's been updated this year to be a little more brighter, a little more festive, kind of with the flavoring, and just overall a lot more drinkable. And again, I think they crushed it. You know, a lot of Sam Adams more holiday themed, you know, Summerfest, Winter Lager, Oktoberfest. They have a similar underlying kind of flavor of kind of the Boston Lager, but with kind of a revamped flavor. It's a good holiday beer. Let's keep it rolling. All right, guys, next up we have the Holiday White Ale, and I'm just going to go for it before we even talk. Wow, okay, hold on. That is good, guys. That is a good beer right there. Now, I didn't really know the difference between lagers and ales, you know, because the only other one in this pack is the American IPA. That's kind of the only other ale. The rest are just considered lagers. Definitely way different, I gotta say. The underlying kind of beer flavor that you would expect is not really there. It's kind of masked over with the cinnamon, again, the nutmeg, but mostly cinnamon. I know I talked about that with the winter lager, but this is a good beer. You know, this is what I would want. I mean, I would say get the pack just for this, obviously, you know. This is what I want at my Christmas parties, seeing the family for Thanksgiving, whatever it may be. This is what I would want right here with dinner. Yeah, it's different. I would say so far it's definitely the most out there kind of flavor, and just the most like flavorful as far as outside of beer, malt, the hops, you know, it's separate from that. I didn't really know much of a difference between ales and lagers. I did a little research here. The primary difference is just kind of how they're brewed, right? So lagers are brewed with kind of bottom fermenting yeast. They're brewed at colder temperatures, whereas ales are more the top feeding yeast, hotter temperatures, and it just gives you a completely different kind of flavor profile overall. But this so far, I gotta say, they're all good, but this Holiday White Ale, this is my favorite so far. Let's see what's next. Alright guys, we're gonna wrap it up here with the Holiday Porter, which I think is fitting because for me, I think winter, cold weather, I'm thinking stouts or porter, you know? Definitely a heavier beer. Imagine it's a hot summer day, you're outside, you're running around, you're doing activities, you're doing whatever. You don't want necessarily something as heavy as a stout or a porter, right? But you know, winter weeks, weather, cold. Inside, warm, porter, nice and cozy, okay? So let's give it a shot and let's see how they do. Again, that's good. I think Sam Adams nailed it with their holiday flavors. Porters, you get a lot more of the coffee. With this, it's a lot more kind of, I'd say a lot more chocolatey. You know, you still kind of have a little bit of those nutmeg kind of flavors, but for sure a lot chocolatier. I could see, you know, sitting back watching a Christmas movie and just enjoying one of these. Again, I wouldn't really drink these on the summer day, but for the holidays, it's perfect. Let's give it another shot. Yeah, guys, this right here, this is winter. Okay, you got a dark, obviously this is the darkest and the heaviest of the 6 beers we've tried, but it's up there for sure. You know, it's dark, robust, it's a very bold flavor. There's a lot of porters I've had out there that are more coffee based, but this, I'm definitely getting that kind of dark chocolatey taste. And you guys, you just gotta have it. You gotta go for it, you know. Alright guys, I hope you enjoyed that. For me, personally, tasting the Sam Adams Winter Classics pack was phenomenal. I think they did a really well job, especially on the seasonal side of things. You know, like I said before, I am a sucker for Sam Adams beer in general, right? But I think the Holiday Classics really just kind of punched it through, absolutely. So if you made it this far, thanks for watching, guys. 2020 has not been the best year. I think we can all agree on that. But why not close out the year with something great, right? So all of you, enjoy your holidays, and as always, enjoy responsibly.